Hey everyone, this is Dave here with a look at the second game in the Dead Rising Remastered trilogy. This is of course Dead Rising 2. So the original Dead Rising Remaster was a pretty bare bones upgrade. We got higher resolution, higher frame rates, but really not much in the way of anything else. Well, with this sequel we do actually see somewhat more of an improvement. So to kick things off, resolution. PlayStation 4 is running at 1080p with post-process anti-aliasing, whereas on the 360 game we see 720p with 2x multi-sampling. So as is to be expected, the boost in resolution adds a lot more clarity to the scene, sub-pixel details are more clearly defined, and generally speaking we get a much sharper presentation overall. It's exactly what you'd expect from a boost in resolution. Asset quality is also given a boost in the remaster too. Take texture detail for example. We see the use of higher resolution art across character clothing and select parts of the environment, and this means that small details appear clearer and more defined compared to the original 360 release. That said, there are plenty of low resolution assets lying around. These didn't look particularly great on the original last gen versions, and well, they don't really hold up that well now. Another area where the remaster falls short is with regards to texture filtering. The level of anisotropic filtering is indeed pared back on the PS4 version compared to the 360, and this means that artwork displayed at oblique angles, such as textures on the floor, appear blurrier and less defined when viewed from a distance. Thankfully, Dead Rising 2 does hold up a lot better than the original game when running in 1080p. The visual quality in this sequel was a big improvement, with better lighting, higher quality assets, and generally more detail all round. And all of that really helps when resolution is boosted above the original 720p target. So that's it for upgrades. Curiously though, there are a few differences with regards to visual quality between the remaster and the last gen versions. Now some of these actually seem to stem from the way the game actually renders out lighting. So some scenes feature additional light sources on the 360 along with extra reflection cast by these lights, whereas on PS4 these are absent. That said, in other scenes we actually see the opposite to be true, so PlayStation 4 gets the advantage whereas on 360 lighting is missing. It's a bit of a strange situation, but when playing the game we can actually see the lighting dramatically change, even when we're just walking around a shopping mall. So in that respect I'm inclined to believe that this is responsible for these differences rather than any cutbacks or anything like that. And this goes for the range of visual effects too. Most scenes are basically identical when it comes to the likes of post-processing, so depth of field, object blur, that kind of stuff is all identical. Similarly, bloom is deployed to a similar standard, although again, due to the way the lighting works, it appears in some scenes and not others. So graphically we are looking at a nice upgrade over the original, but how does this translate into performance? So looking at frame rates here, we are indeed getting a boost up to 60 frames per second on PlayStation 4, whereas the original 360 game is targeting 30 FPS instead. Now both versions are running with VSync permanently enabled, so we never get any screen tearing. On the plus side, there's no jarring wobble that appears when the game is under load. The downside is that frame rates are hit harder than in the original Dead Rising. For example, on PS4 we see drops down to at least 45 FPS in busy scenes where there is plenty of zombies on screen, whereas on the Xbox 360 version this can go down as low as 20 FPS. So naturally performance is hit pretty hard, but on the plus side this has less of an impact on the PS4 version. Yes, frame rates aren't perfect and there is some noticeable judder when performance is impacted in busy scenes, but at the same time the experience still stands above the original 360 release. Interestingly, cutscenes are capped at 30 FPS in the remaster and mostly hold that target. There are some occasional frame pacing issues along with some brief pauses and stutters, but outside of these moments it's a mostly stable 30 FPS. Now I'm not entirely sure why these aren't running at 60 frames per second. Perhaps the animations and the way these scenes were created were designed specifically to update 30 FPS, hence why performance hasn't been uncapped here. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So the Dead Rising 2 Remaster does indeed provide a nice step up over the last gen originals, and if you're looking to double dip then it's definitely worth taking the plunge. We'll be back soon with a comparison of the PS4 and Xbox One versions, but that's it for now. As always, feel free to give us a thumbs up if you enjoy our work, and remember to support Digital Foundry by subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.